Hello, I am Cher, and I'm a musician who has not one but two small businesses to keep me going, which I need because, I'm a musician. Um, anyways, I sell used and rare books, which I've done for quite a while, and I have a newer business selling handmade stuff. And yeah, got a dog here. You can't see him, but he's here. um, Yesterday, I talked a little bit about secondhand fabric. We could call it vintage fabric. That sounds better. Um, I talked a bit. Goose down. Okay, I talked a bit about the pitfalls, but I didn't really talk much, and I thought about it and wanted to add more. So this is kind of a part two, continuing from yesterday. Um, I tried to make a list of pros and cons. I've got way more cons than pros, but to me, the pros outweigh the cons. I am going to start with the cons. Yesterday, what I was talking about was that you can get far too much of it too easily because, well, you buy these big collections and you end up with all sorts of stuff you don't like. Now, I realize that people who buy fabric new at fabric stores also have the problem of building up way too much fabric. And I really have to wonder, since Joann's went out of business and fabric got to be fairly cheap towards the end, I wonder how many people stocked up and have fabulous stashes that they're never going to be able to use. And there might be things in there that they bought and don't know what they're going to do with and look at later and think, why did I buy this? Well, anyways, so that was my number one. Two is that you can't find matching fabrics. Like, if you want this for the outer and this for the lining, or you want to have multiple fabrics for the outer, whatever. You can walk around, I did this one whole summer, walk around with all these fabric swatches in my purse. And when I remembered, I would actually get them out and look for fabric that would match it. And I discovered that lining fabric is much harder to find secondhand than outer. And I would be so confused sometimes. It's like I couldn't remember what it was I intended to make out of the little scrap I was carrying around with me. So I finally decided, okay, we will do this one at a time, and we will go to the fabric store, of which we don't really have anymore. We have Walmart, we have Hobby Lobby. I did make it to Michael's over the weekend, and they had a bit of fabric, not very much, and a small bit of fabric and a sign that says, we're getting more fabric. It's my first time at Michael's, so I don't know how long that sign's been up. I don't know where they're going to put more fabric. Where would they put a cutting table? Unless they're cutting it on their framing table. I don't know. Anyways, probably a cat walking down the alley. Con number 3. You will never find that fabric again. If you buy something and you're making something out of it and you need a bit more, no. You won't find it again. It's, one of a kind. Another con, I think, is that there's no fabric content. Sometimes when you buy like fairly recent prints, it will have it on the side. But Yeah, for the most part, you don't know what you're buying. Pig and poke. Um, Another thing is that the pieces will be smaller than you want, than you might want. You know, and you find something really, really cool, and it's not even a yard, but you can make one bag out of it. Uh-huh. Um, and I think this would be a con. It's not like instant gratification. I mean, you're out there searching. Um, you're not saying I would like to go out and buy some fabric to make whatever and find it. um, yeah, that's my pretty much list of the negatives. There are probably more. I will probably think of them right after I turn this off. If I think of enough stuff, there might be a part 3. The obvious pro would be the price. Now, I've been to some garage sales where they're trying to sell fabric for as much as you'd buy it at the fabric store. Okay, now my dog is barking because the mailman came. He's my guard dog slash automatic doorbell. Another pro. Oh, wait, I didn't finish on that one. I got distracted. Dog. A lot of people here will go to estate sales and buy mounds of fabric, and then they separate it into measure the length and will sell it for about like $2 a yard, which is a good price as long as you're buying something you like. You know, and I like to buy from them because they're doing the work. I'm only buying what I want. I've also seen people that just want to get rid of stuff and sell it cheap, really cheap, practically giving it to you. One of the things I like is that you can find exciting fabric you won't see anywhere else. I mean, you don't even know where it came from. Like, whoa, how did someone buy this? Because obviously in olden days, there were more stores to buy fabric at than Walmart and Hobby Lobby. So more things available than just quilting cotton and fleece. Fleece. Yeah, anyways. But, I mean, there's the upholstery section. Well, there is an upholstery section in Hobby Lobby. I haven't really looked at it unless something gets dumped into the clearance section. But there is. Not like you'd like, but it is what it is. It's just 2 stores we have that sell any fabric at all. Yeah, I found some fantastic stuff. End of that, I guess. If there was a thought, it like shut itself away and will reveal itself later when I'm done. Okay, another thing that I think is a pro, and other people might not, it's like treasure hunting. I already do that, have done it all my life. I'm out there looking for old books. And lots of times, no, not lots of times, sometimes there's old books and there's old sewing stuff. I always look at auction ads that have anything sewing. I've bought. I haven't really bought fabric at an auction, but I already told you once I have 2 older machines. A Singer's that's a 1940 and it's got a certain bobbin, but I've been able to find lots of those bobbins. I have an older one than that. That has a different style bobbin that I have not been able. I don't use the sewing machine very much, and it has the best stitch. of any that I've got, but I only have a couple bobbins. So, yeah, whatever. So, anyways, sidetracked. Yeah, treasure hunting. If I could stick to topics, man, I would be, I don't know, not as interesting, I think. Anyways, for me, it's like treasure hunting. I'm already out there. I love the thrill of the hunt. Other people might not. Other people might, like shy away from buying fabric at a flea market. Mm-hmm. I like it. Um, anyways, places where secondhand fabric is available, in my experience, garage sales, some garage sales, every now and then. Although I've been to garage sales where they want way too much for the fabric. Obviously, if a garage sale ad says they have fabric, I'm going to go. But sometimes I go, I take one look, and I leave. It's that way with everything with garage sales. Thrift stores, although here, small town, rural area, we have one Goodwill store. We used to have multiple thrift stores, and I used to find fabric. But the Goodwill store that we have here hasn't carried it in a long time. So you lucky people that have thrift stores that carry sewing stuff, I'm jealous. Facebook, which I've never looked on, but evidently, my friend bought my haul of fabric that I got over the weekend from a Facebook ad. I buy a lot at Rummage or Charity. They're like garage sales to raise money for the Humane Society or whatever. I will find boxes of fabric there. Although, I think I've said before, people will be running for it. So, sometimes I don't get it. Yeah, and I also said that I do not allow myself to buy a box of fabric unless there's something I really love in it. So that I do not have to sort through things at home and pass things on to other places. The flea market is my favorite place to buy vintage fabric, secondhand, vintage. Because, like I say, there are dealers there who regularly have fabric. So, yay. And you can go straight to the estate sales, but that, to me, unless you are going to deal in fabric or unless you have a lot of friends who also sew who will use up it, yeah, I stay away from, I don't stay away from estate sales. I stay away from fabric at estate sales because you can buy too much too soon. And that's the thoughts I have right now. I'm sure there's more. I am great at thinking of something as soon as I was done. In fact, sometimes I have notes, and I look at my notes when I'm done. It's like, oops, forgot that one, even though I wrote it in big letters. So, it's really cold here. Very cold the last 2 days. And I had a talk with my dog. Yeah, we're off topic now. Had a talk with my dog. I told him I thought it was better if we discontinued walks and we just stayed in. But he didn't go for that. We made a compromise. We are taking very short walks. And he thinks that I should have to make up for that when the weather gets nice. I told him, hey, I'm an old lady. I'm old and decrepit. Well, he didn't go for that one either. He's just a very unreasonable dog. Although he has forgiven me for taking very short walks. I think he knows it's cold too. Oh, my cat wanted to go out last night. So I stood by the door and like counted to 20, opened the door back up, and in she came. It's cold out there. But it's January. It's supposed to be cold, right? I have to dig my car out today and go mail things. I haven't driven it since last time I mailed stuff. I even ordered groceries because it's like, I guess instead of digging out, because I'm not out there with a shovel, it's more unearthing the car under all the snow that's on top of it. Yeah, I don't know why I decided to tell you how cold it is, but it's cold. Anyways, it's time for your song of the day. Whether you like it or not. This is called Way Too Crowded, and it's about when you end a relationship, but your brain doesn't turn it off. So, sometimes your ghost lies in wait in my bed and holds me in his arms till I'm asleep. He'll be gone for months sometimes, I'm sure he's gone forever, but he's merely out of sight, always watching. It's way too crowded in here, you left something behind. Can't seem to get rid of him, no matter how I try. Sometimes your ghost sits across from me at breakfast and asks me about my day. He feeds his dog bits of toast, she's content, the traitor. Makes it hard to forget you. It's way too crowded in here, you left something behind. Can't seem to get rid of him, no matter how I try. I've introduced him to new lovers, he's polite, makes conversation, asks them about their intentions. Tells them embarrassing stories from my past, points out my bad habits, doesn't listen when I tell him. It's none of his business. It's way too crowded in here, you left something behind. Can't seem to get rid of him, no matter how I try. It's way too crowded in here, you left something behind. Can't seem to get rid of him, no matter how I try. I've never done that without the band. It doesn't really have an acoustic version. Now it does. Thank you.